Okay.
What are you gonna do now?
I thought I'd move out to Las Vegas.
My heart is crying, crying.
I just need some cash tonight.
Please, don't drink it in here.
Ben wasn't looking for a fresh start.
$500.
$500 for a '93 Rolex Daytona. I'll do it.
He wasn't looking for any trouble.
I was wondering if you would buy me a drink.
Do you mind if I buy her a drink?
And he wasn't trying to fall in love.
I really wish you'd come home with me. You're so cute. And I'm really good in bed, too, believe me. No? Okay.
But now, on the road to nowhere, he's about to take a detour.
Hi! Are you working?
Working? What do you mean working? I'm walking.
It's pretty funny. If you'll come to my room for 1 hour, I will give you $500.
I'm gonna love you.
I'm Ben.
I'm Sarah. So what brings you to Las Vegas?
I came here to drink myself to death.
Why don't you stay at my place?
Okay. This is the home of an angel.
Are you okay?
Of course. Wow, you look extremely beautiful.
I do.
Get a drink!
I want you to see a doctor.
Both know I'm a drunk. Nurse! And I know what you do.
Is this a full night's work?
I hope you understand that I'm a person who is totally at ease with this.
I was really worried about how that would be. No, I'm not.
Nicolas Cage.
I am not here to force my twisted soul into your life. I'm in love with you.
Elizabeth Shue.
I need you. I love you.
United Artists Pictures presents a romance as unexpected as love itself. Cosmopolitan magazine raves Nicolas Cage is electrifying. Vogue calls Elizabeth Shue's performance a career-changing revelation. And Rex Reed exclaims, Cage and Shue are heartbreaking and honest in Oscar-caliber performances.
I like it here with you.
Let's stay for a while.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Hey.
Hi.
Welcome to Movie Humpers.
Movie Humpers.
I'm Bob Sham.
I'm Angela, his
And-
wife.
And ladies, sorry.
He's my husband.
Yeah.
We're married.
Ladies and some of the dudes, I'm sorry.
Relax.
Chill out. All right. Tell you what, I'll let you watch me and do whatever you want to do.
What?
This is going to be a very erotic episode.
Oh, yeah.
This movie we're discussing, which is a part of our co-theme this month of Strange Love.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the first time I've seen this movie. It was kind of hyped back in the day. And this movie is such an interesting balance of sexy and sleaze.
You never saw this before?
I didn't lie
Wow.
when I said that.
Okay, that's just sinking in.
You know, you got me. I fucking just made that up.
Sexy and sleaze.
No, I made it up. I've seen this movie like 20 times. You
I'm
got
just
me.
surprised.
I tried to test you. You saw right through me.
Okay. Point made.
Because this movie is sleazy.
Mm-hmm.
Not every part of it is like sexy, but there is a lot of sexy to it.
Yes.
And the sexy
And sad.
The sexy sleaze balance, and there's sadness, is so kind of well done that really you just have to go to porn to like find that. For this movie, and it's almost porn.
Yeah.
Not like even like in just like let's show the stuff going in and out, in and out. Just like the vibe.
Yeah.
The vibe
Absolutely.
of it, you know? We're discussing Leaving Las
Vegas.
From 1995, directed by Mike Figgis. Written by Mike Figgis, based on a book by John O'Brien.
Music by Mike Figgis.
Yeah, he picked it out.
Mobster number 3, played by Mike Figgis.
If you wanted to hear that Sting sing some kind of vocal jazz song over and over and over, this is what you want.
No, thank you, but this was great. This music for this movie makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I saw this as a young person. I don't think I should have. I didn't remember it. I knew the basics.
Mm-hmm.
I know the plot line, which is very simple. Man goes to Vegas to drink himself to death, falls in love with a woman who is a sex worker.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Back then, they called them hookers.
They did, and they do in the movie. So if we say that, it's because of the movie. But
this stars Nicolas Cage, Elizabeth Shue, and French Stewart.
French Stewart's like dude in the hotel.
French Stewart is in this movie.
Also, though, you've got at the very beginning.
Explain who French Stewart is first.
Oh, French Stewart is the guy with the eyes from Third Rock in the Sun.
Yeah, he's like
this.
You know,
I used to have a crush on him.
You know who? Yeah, that seems like a weird person you would crush on. You know who'd play? I want to see a biopic about French Stewart's life.
Yeah,
and I think Ezra Miller could play him.
Ooh,
come on.
Yeah, totally. He could
if he could stop like doing weird thing, getting in legal trouble. Then he could play French Stewart in a French Stewart biopic. But
I
yeah,
can see it.
Third Rock from the Sun, motherfucking French motherfucking Stewart is in this movie.
Yeah, the very beginning, Steven Weber.
That's right.
Also, what's that guy's name with the hair?
Richard Lewis.
Richard Lewis is in this movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like him in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
Though the later seasons, like, what is going on? I don't know.
I didn't watch much of it, but I remember him from some of the bits.
Yeah, he's good in that show. I kind of like Richard Lewis.
Yeah.
I kind of like him.
Yeah.
He's like your typical neurotic comedian guy, right?
Yeah, totally.
So Nicolas Cage, I forget what his name is in this movie, and I forget what her name is in this movie. We'll just call him Nicolas Cage, Elizabeth Shue.
Her name is Sarah, because it's Sera,
That's
and
right.
they make a big deal about it, and his name is Drunk.
Drunk. We'll call him Drunk.
I don't remember his
I don't remember
name.
either. But we're going to get a double dose of Uncle Nicky this week. It's Ben, okay. We're getting a double dose of Uncle Nicky this week.
Any week is fine with me.
I think Nick Cage...
I love Nicolas Cage. That is not an over-exaggeration.
No, he's great.
That's the truth.
And when you give Nicolas Cage a role where there's got to be something about his character that is in extremity, then he's gonna crush it.
He fucking crushed this.
I mean, this is like, he is alcohol. Like, he's a Hollywood writer who has literally drunk himself out of a marriage, out of a job. His friends are embarrassed by him. He goes to bars, and he probably used to be pretty much a playboy, but now the hot lady from Hot Shots, he can't pick her up.
She's so hot.
She is a babe. He can't pick her up.
Valeria.
The bartenders are like, you're a messy bitch.
One of the bartenders actually at one point tries to be like, dude, maybe you should like look at your life. And then Nicolas Cage starts to get mad and he goes, you know what? Fucking next drink on me, bro. Like, because there's no talking to him.
Yeah.
He's going to drink. And if you don't want him to drink, he doesn't have any use for you in his life.
The only other movie I can think of where it shows like alcoholism at this level is probably like The Master, Joaquin Phoenix's character. And he's fucking drinking jet fuel and shit.
Mixing up like crazy chemical concoctions in like the janitor's office.
When you hear about people who are such alcoholics that they're drinking like antifreeze and shit, like the only reason Nick Cage isn't drinking antifreeze is because when they fired him, they cut him a huge severance check. So he's looking at the check, he's like, this is very generous. And with that check, he's like, I think I'll move to Las Vegas.
He burns a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
He just like leaves his life behind.
He's going to go and drink himself to death. He has this plan. He arrives and he sees, before he gets to Las Vegas, he tries to hook up with this sex worker lady. And she we see her basically put her mouth around his finger.
His ring finger.
And she's another sexy moment here. Apparently Mike Figgis, exploring eroticism is kind of his thing.
He did it well.
And the lady pulls his wedding band. I don't know.
With her mouth.
Maybe it was a gold wedding band. Men aren't known for dropping a lot on wedding bands. They're just kind of more of a symbol than...
It was something.
But yeah.
She knew she could get it because he was drunk.
But it's also symbolizing how the aspects of his life that he has completely lost.
He also never mentioned it. It's like it didn't matter.
No,
at one point
it
he
didn't.
says, I don't know if I lost my marriage because I started drinking or if I started drinking because I lost my marriage. And later when Elizabeth Shue asks him, why are you doing this? He's like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like he's drunk himself to a point where he is forgetting everything except what's happening in front of him.
So, yeah, he arrives in Las Vegas and he almost runs into a sex worker, Elizabeth Shue.
I love this.
That was a red light. I walk, you stop. You sorry?
Yeah.
Good.
And that's when we
Because-
first meet her. And she's like, the lights, we see that impression immediately.
Yeah. When he sees her the next time, he stops his car and pulls over and is like, hey,
Yeah.
are you working? Can I see you right now?
She has this pimp who's like some Russian dude. When
Yeah.
we first see her and him together in a penthouse, that's where French Stewart is. Can you imagine? Like, what's so interesting about French Stewart is, I'm sure the face he makes when he comes is also his resting
What
face.
if that's the only time he opens his eyes?
Wow!
That looks creepy.
I wonder if he says yowza when he comes.
I have a theory that I just made up. That there is some sort of missing scene to explain what's going on with this pimp guy because they try to set up like a C story with it where I don't even know if that's a term, but you know what I mean? Like a not even a B. It's like a small plot line because there's a part where Nicolas Cage stops at the gas station to get gas. And there are some guys who are presumably from the same country as the pimp guy speaking in a foreign language, but they're talking about that pimp guy. And I don't remember what they said about him, but it basically was like, he's in trouble or he's going to get it or something.
Well,
right?
apparently the guy is fucking losing his mind.
Well, and he chased her. So she was in LA with him and she ran away from him because he's abusive and used to cut her. And so he would cut her he would beat her up, but then he would also cut her as part of like sex, but it was not something that she wanted. And she ran away from him to Vegas and he found her.
I'm so glad we didn't linger on that guy either. I was
I know.
glad that we moved away from that.
Yeah, eventually he just tells her one night, he takes all her money and tells her to get away from him.
Because throughout this movie, he's like, he tells her to leave because she goes out she meets up with Nicolas Cage and like crashes with him, like actually makes a connection with him because they're just like, he's in a place where he can't even fucking lie anymore.
Yeah.
When we first meet him, he's talking to hotshot lady in the bar and be like, I'm really good in bed. And when he meets Elizabeth Shue, he's like, look, I accept you for what you're doing. And also, I don't mind hanging out with you. Mm-hmm. Just, you can never tell me to stop drinking.
Yeah.
And also, I'm shit in bed. Like, they only sleep together once.
So when she's doing her job, right? So when they first get to his room, she does try to go down on him and he's like, hey, let's have a drink. Let's not do that. And it takes like 2 times and she basically is like, what's your fucking deal? And he's like, I just want to be around you.
Yeah.
And then he says all of that and there's this understanding like she can never ask him to stop drinking and he will not make her feel bad about what she does.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be alone. I did like one comment she makes though at this. There's one time where he is a little shitty to her because he's drunk. He doesn't want her to leave. Mm-hmm. And he says something like, because he hasn't fucked her yet, right? So she makes some comment about that, and he's like, well, I could just ask any of these guys you go out with what it's like to fuck you. And she goes, they wouldn't know.
Yeah, they make...
Because she's playing a part when she's with them.
You know when he's like, don't tell me not to drink, and she's like, this is my job. Of course you know that there's always something insecure about it in the back of their minds.
Well, because you know they really have a connection and they care about each other.
Because they're falling in love.
And he wants her to be with him and she wants him to not die. I mean, he's basically like... So basically what he's saying to her when he says, you cannot ask me to stop drinking, is he's saying, you cannot ask me to not kill myself.
Yeah.
I love you, but I'm also going to die here. Mm-hmm. And he even offers to leave a couple times when it starts getting worse. I know we're jumping around, but I think that's fine, right? And so... when it starts getting worse and he starts like he's having really bad tremors and he like can't sleep and he's literally drinking so much alcohol constantly, and he says to her like, I should go. I can get a hotel Because she says, I want you to see a doctor. And he's like, I am not going to see a doctor, but I will leave if you want me to leave. And she's like, you can't leave me. I need you.
It's really impressive the chemistry they have when they're also so distinctly playing such damaged positions. Because Nicolas Cage is literally shit-faced to the gills the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And yet you do get this feeling that he really, really cares about her. I mean, I was almost convinced that Elizabeth Shue and Nicolas Cage, while making this movie, probably were into each other.
I mean, it seemed like it.
I don't know. They could just be killing it, but it really was
They're both very sexy.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not a stretch. Even if they didn't do anything, they were probably attracted to each other. And, okay, so also I want to talk about, one of the sexiest parts of this movie.
Sure.
To me.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a part that kind of foreshadows this, where he is like mad at this woman. I can't remember. She's like at the bank or something. And he can't sign his name. So he goes and gets some drinks. He comes back and he's like recording himself speaking about this woman behind the counter, talking about how if you were covered in bourbon, then I would fuck you.
Yeah.
If you poured bourbon between your legs, I would drink it. Like all this stuff he's saying, right? And he's saying all this stuff and it's like, whoa, like it just in front of these people. Mm-hmm. Flash forward. Elizabeth Shue doesn't know this. There's little things that she does where he constantly is like, you're the most perfect person in the world for me. Mm-hmm. Like she buys him a present, which is a flask. And he's like, oh my God, you understand me. It's like when I got you that Bret Hart Simpsons figure.
Yeah,
kind of the same thing, you know, like I get you.
Yeah.
She gets him. But anyway, so there's this part where she's like, let's go to the desert for a couple of days. Let's go on a vacation. And they still haven't fucked. And she wants to. She brings it up regularly that she wants to have sex with him. And he's laying on this lounge chair and she picks up the bottle of bourbon.
Straddles him.
She straddles him and starts drinking it kind of, but it's pouring all over her body onto him. And it is so fucking hot. And you know that if he'd been a little less drunk, they would have fucked right then. But when they got up, he fell through a table and they got kicked out of the hotel.
Yeah.
But it was super hot. And at one point, like, they're out by the pool and he's like, take your top off. He's like, take this off. And she's like pulling down her like top of her bathing suit. And there's like bourbon all over her breasts. And he's like touching her and they're like kissing. And it was fucking hot as shit, right? That is the moment where, it's like they wanted to fuck each other. But it's like...
I felt like the sexiest parts to me was when he had the shakes and he was throwing up in the sink. Oh my God,
Robert.
I thought like, man, if my wife wasn't here and I was alone, pulling it. So yeah, there's a couple of things like, I mean, he's completely gone. So he had a moment in a casino where someone tells him no for some reason and he freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
And they get kicked out. She tries to go back into the casino later to work alone and they kick her out.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what she does, it seems. So she's getting in a car with a cabbie and the cabbie's like, you got money, right? You got money, right? I mean, she's in a position to be used for money, but like her lot is just sad at the same time.
I will say about the two scenes that you just called out, however, that is also right after she's been beat up really bad. And that cabbie in particular, not to excuse his behavior because he was rude as fuck to her and it was not okay.
Yeah.
But
he's seen this before, obviously.
He's seen this before from other people, whatever, but she does have a really rough time because there is a point where he does leave because one night when she goes out to work, he goes to the casino and he gets picked up by SVU.
Right.
That chick.
Her name is Special Victims Unit.
Special Victims Unit.
That's her street name.
With long hair.
Yeah.
And she picks him up and Elizabeth Shue comes home to find Nicolas Cage and they were not having sex.
They weren't quite there, and
she was trying to make him do it. She was doing you make me so hot. No, he still had his pants on.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the point, like truly, and he knew. He knew as soon as he saw her face because he looked at her and he goes, maybe if it's okay, I can just crash on the couch for a few hours and then I'll leave. And she's like, get the fuck out.
Oh, and Elizabeth Shue's landlords are Laurie Metcalf and Mr. Ernst from Hey Dude.
It's a little wild and a little strange.
Yeah, it took me a minute to recognize him, but yeah, that's
God,
Mr.
I didn't
Ernst.
recognize him. I used to watch Hey Dude all the time, but Aunt Jackie.
Yeah, Laurie Metcalf, underrated actor. She honestly should get
I
more
love her.
roles.
Yes.
But yeah, so they're suspicious of something going on, and as they're split up, she goes out and, like you said, she gets this gig with these like stereotypical frat boys,
Beat her up and rape her.
and she ends up getting raped, and so it's like everything's starting to fall apart for her.
Yeah.
And like she gets her landlord see her come home all busted up.
And they kick her
and they
out.
kind of have figured out finally what she's doing.
Yeah.
And they tell her she has to leave by the end of the week. And
then Nick calls.
And she goes to him, and he's just like, I mean, I don't know if this guy even really eats. Like, she tries to feed him sometimes. Without at one point, without even telling him, she doesn't say stop drinking, but she's like, can you go to a doctor? But what is a doctor going to tell him? Stop drinking. Honestly, he may be so strung out that it could be even dangerous for him to go cold turkey.
I think that he didn't even want food. Like, there's one point where she's like, I got you some plain rice. I think you could eat plain rice.
Yeah.
But I think every time he tries to eat, he throws up.
So she gets the call from him. He wants to see her. You can tell he kind of knows that his end goal is in sight.
And she does too.
And she comes into his room, and he's just like fucking wrecked. And he sees that he's like massaging himself under the sheets. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'll do that. And then she gets on top of him. And this is the first time. And they've said that they love each other.
Yeah, so many times.
So many times at this point.
He tells her again.
And she gets on top of him. They actually have sex. And then he fucking dies.
While they're sleeping.
Yeah.
Right before that, before she climbed on top of him, she said to him, before she said she would help him sexually, she said, do you want help? Do you want me to help you? Mm-hmm. And he was like, no.
Yeah. And
then
he dies.
And they made love for the first time, and then he died.
Wow. So real feel good flick here. But the way that the tragedy, like I said, the balance of eroticism, because there's scenes in this movie that are like, damn. And then there's other parts that are like, good God, this is like the saddest shit I've ever seen.
That's it. It's sexy. It's so sexy and so sad.
It doesn't really play up the setting of Las Vegas as something like it really. No. It's not like it doesn't make Las Vegas seem like this magical place, you know. Right. It really sets it up like this is where dreams and lives go to die.
Yep.
Like it doesn't have that. The tourism board for Las Vegas probably might want to like not bring this movie up, truly, because like everyone is just either like desperate or just a dirtbag.
Was Nicolas Cage also in that movie about like 50 Elvises or whatever?
Honeymoon in Vegas.
So probably, yes, I bet you if people try to say leaving Las Vegas, they go, "Oh, you mean honeymoon in Vegas?" No. Honeymoon in Vegas.
No, not that one. Not that one. Don't get me wrong. I masturbated to leaving Las Vegas a few times, but Honeymoon in Vegas is the one we want you to watch. Okay? I mean, maybe you like the flying Elvises coming out of the...
I mean, I like Elvises.
That's all I remember of that fucking movie.
That's all I remember that movie, too. That's why I wasn't even positive he was in it.
Yeah.
But that's when we've seen him be Elvis.
Yes, I think he was.
I'm pretty positive.
All right, we... there's humping in this movie, and we hump movies.
Yeah.
And this stark, interesting movie. Mm-hmm. You're gonna give it 1 through 5. I'm gonna give it 1 through 5 combined for best out of 10.
I think that Nicolas Cage. I think this is one of his best performances, if not his best performance. There's a magic that happens when he gets put in the right movie, where it is a person in reality that has some like crazy aspect of them that he can dive into. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes he can seem like crazy in a normal world.
Yes.
Right? But this movie was his world. And Elizabeth Shue is perfect.
I mean, we saw her a few weeks ago in she played Jogo Lay's mom.
Yes.
In Mysterious Skin.
She's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
Where's she been?
I don't know.
Can we get a resurgence of Elizabeth Shue here?
We should look her up. Maybe she's been doing some indie shit that is also super great.
Yeah.
We should look her up.
Maybe.
Or revisit Adventures in Babysitting.
They remade that movie.
I will never.
Don't go off. We don't have time.
Okay. I'm just saying. God,
I'll go ahead and rate it.
Okay.
I feel like it's a number I've been giving out a lot, but I feel like this movie's pretty damn interesting. Quite a sight to behold. I'm going to give it a 4.25.
Okay.
So I think this is a very good movie and a good example of we the last few weeks we've been getting good examples of what it looks like when people have serious problems. Mm-hmm. And this is like one of the more stark examples of extreme alcoholism.
Yeah.
What say you? I actually hate it when people say what say you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really annoying. Like, what are you, like some like bargain bin Shakespeare?
Right.
Just fucking tell me. Just say, what do you think about this? Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say 4.5.
Okay. So that is an 8.75 for Mike Figgis's Leaving Las Vegas. I believe this is on Paramount Plus as of this recording.
I think it's because it's on Showtime.
Yeah.
And we have the Paramount Plus with Showtime.
8.75 is an A. So let's see what we got here for 8.75s. We got from top to bottom, My Beautiful Laundrette, Fox and His Friends, and Mad God. Where do you think it falls somewhere in there?
At the top.
Oh, and My Mysterious Skin. Is it under Mysterious Skin and above My Beautiful Laundrette or above Mysterious Skin?
Under Mysterious Skin.
All right, 2 back-to-back Elizabeth Shue vehicles. Leaving Las Vegas is in between Mysterious Skin and My Beautiful Laundrette. And our A-tier rankings. Check the show notes for links and other places to find us.
Death to all traitors.
Death to all traitors.